guys, welcome to another late night stream, and this time it's UBOAT again. So let me give you a brief summary of the situation. As you see, this is a submarine simulation of a German Second World War submarine, and all this game takes place in a wonderful open world, which is beautifully interactive, or sometimes deadly interactive, and you can do a complete playthrough through the war, and that's what I am doing at the moment. So I started the beginning of the war in the port of Wilhelmshaven with a small, tiny Type 2 submarine with few torpedoes, low range, and few fuel resources, low maximum speed. Pretty hard thing, but well, I earned my merits. As you see, I put some checks onto these overall missions or scenarios, and so over the time, earned my merits, and now I am the proud captain of a Type 7C submarine, which is pretty fast at top speed, has quite some decent range, and it is a sturdy building, 2 air guns, and it actually does have a deck gun, the boat that you start with. I mean, if you do it the hard way and you start with the Type 1, you don't even have a deck gun in the beginning. I think you can also start in a different scenario with the Type 7 already, but I pretty much enjoy to go into that other type of submarine and really have that challenge of earning my merits to get the good one. And well, talking about challenge, I'm playing at almost maximum difficulty level, so I won't go into the details, but there is a lot of things that you can turn on and off and change between different difficulty levels, so you have a very good understanding of what you turn on and off when you change your difficulty level. And well, I have pretty everything turned on, so makes it feel pretty realistic as far as I can judge it. Well, I never traveled in a submarine by myself. Pretty sure it would drive me crazy in real life, but on this gaming level it just feels great. I mean, just look at the graphics. I love this. Like, the bow cuts through the sea, and the spray going up, and the movement of the boat through the waves. That's beautiful. At least this is something that I can judge, having traveled at sea in a small boat once in a while, even a smaller one actually than this one. And pretty much like how this looks. And then you have this cross-section view, which is great. Not quite sure, did you have this type of cross-section view before? I think not. They didn't have it in Silent Hunter. That was something completely new. So we can take a little look at what we have around here. I think we fired all our... no, we have a few torpedoes. They are not left, but we got them from a milk cow. So let me show you. Our last mission was all over the Atlantic, off the Canadian coast, and we actually fulfilled our mission goal to sink something like 10,000 tons, and we even fulfilled the second level of this overall operation by having sunk 100,000 tons around here. So this will earn us another milk cow, which we can position somewhere on the world map and use it to refuel. So it would be pretty hard to do all the travel across the Atlantic. That would already use, well, 1/3 of the fuel. Then you have only 1/3 of the fuel for the operation out there and go back with the remaining. And that would be pretty tight. So it's vital to have some possibility. And that was the milk cows. My milk cow is actually positioned here. And I already used it several times. So that was, if I counted correctly, the 3rd time that I went to the Canadian coast. Hey, weight loss. Nice. Sorry. Sorry. Nice to have you in. Good evening. How are you? How was your day? You can never have too many. Exactly, yes. That's the point. So I fired actually all of my torpedoes and reloaded torpedoes and fuel 2 times at the milk cow and got back into the target area. So in total, you can see that here, I stayed more than a month in the target area. This is something that you can only do with the milk cow. Yeah, and now after having sunk quite a lot of enemy ships, we are on the way back to our home port, which is La Rochelle by now. There we are. Wow, that sounds good. By the way, one thing that I just didn't recognize, do you remember that game called what was it? Following Seas. I think we had been talking about that, and there was a demo out, and yeah, just silently, without me recognizing it, the game actually went into the early access. So no demo anymore, and yeah, I actually got the game. I didn't yet try it, but I got it. So maybe this is a little project I'm gonna do over the weekend to dive into that game. Yeah, but I also like Sailwinds. It's just like, yeah, too many games to dive into, so you have to prioritize, and so my priority would probably more be like Following Seas next. Yeah, well, the ship types, they are, well, it's fore and aft rigged only. Or I think I also saw a demo where he had a square rigged ship, but yeah, I'm not quite sure whether I like the storyline of that game. That sounds a little bit weird. If I were him, I would have put it into a different storyline maybe, but I like his approach because he is really trying to, yeah, make this sailing feel realistic, having real physics about operating, well, wind acting on the sails acting on the mast and the hulls and everything. It's all junks and shebacks, yeah. That's right. I don't quite like the junks, I must say, but I like the shebacks. Or Quebec, or however it is pronounced. I like them pretty much with the Latin rig. I think they are a beauty. And, well, by the way, let me mention it. I got the the Sailors expansion of Bannerlord. It just came out yesterday, 2 days ago, on the 26th. Yeah, that's right. So, we are on the way back to harvest the fruits of our efforts. Yeah, that's right, they are so low cut, have a very low bulk work. So, still, I mean, also the Mediterranean could be pretty rough, right? But yeah, they were coastal crafts probably. Yeah, you wouldn't get the swell of the Atlantic and the Mediterranean, right? But still, quite something, I would guess. Yeah, well, okay, but, well, I think the largest that I ever experienced was something like, well, maximum 2 meters, I would say. But, well, it was in a 9-meter yacht, so then it becomes pretty impressive already. So, okay, guys, let's get it round the horn and get back home. Let's do the time acceleration. Yeah, I did order Mr. Trummel, our bosun, to care for the map because our navigation correctness was getting a bit down. Yeah, let's keep him at the map. He can do it for 2 shifts and would not get too tired. Hey, Vulvulu, good evening. Great to have you in. So, how has been your week so far? How's been your day? You are in the club. Yeah, okay, all right. So, yeah, Thursday. I remember Thursday was party time. To be honest, I'm not doing that much party anymore, but yeah, I remember my times back in Düsseldorf, and that was like the whole Altstadt, the whole old town, the pub quarter of the town was completely crammed with people in the Thursday evenings. You think that you usually would underestimate the size of the sea? Yeah, I could imagine that. Yeah, okay, so so what music do you have in the club? You don't have to tell. I'm just curious.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Ich kümmere mich darum.
Yes, yeah. So this is what you would really call lurking then, right? But Anyway, hey guys, I see that just in the last minutes a hell lot of people dropped into the stream. Thanks for having you in. It's a pleasure. And don't feel observed. Just see the number going up, so if you want to watch anonymously, you are anonymous. But let me nevertheless encourage you to take part in the chat. Also, maybe now and then it might seem pretty private. It's open and we are glad for anybody joining. Always curious about, what you think about the game, what you think about the stream. Do you play by yourself? Or just watching? Out of curiosity, or because you just have the game anew and want to learn some basics, or you're just an old salt and like to kind of see what other people do. So it's night time. What time is it? 2 o'clock. And in the middle of summer at 2 o'clock, we already see a shade of light coming across the horizon in the northeast, actually. Yeah, I actually have to admit that this is a reload because we already went so far as south of this island on the last stream 2 days ago, 4 days ago. And yeah, we actually got attacked by a wing of something like 5 or 6 planes. And being so shallow there, we just had no chance to evade, and they gave us quite a beating. And yeah, I got it under control, but finally when we put the boat onto the sea bottom, which was just something like 20 feet, 20 meters. Okay, yes, good point. Yep, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, please, everybody do that. This game has really earned it. This is so great what this small team does. Some unknown labels, some unknown programming team. Not one of the big players. And creating such a beautiful game. That's so amazing. Yeah, so around here we were attacked, and yeah, we survived at the sea bottom, and finally I got the leaks stopped and repairing stuff, but I lost more than half of the crew, and finally just 1 or 2 officers survived. And so I actually decided to reload an earlier save, and that's where we are right now. Yes, they should. They should give us the Type 9. That would be an extra boost for them to score. 100% agree. Let's give it a save. Come on. It's 6 o'clock, early morning. Is this the lighthouse over there? I'm really curious. Let's send the captain up to the conning tower. I guess it's the lighthouse. So far out. Yep. Let's keep going. Yeah, the game is not repetitive, so because we did get this attack of airplanes here, it doesn't necessarily mean that we get it again. There is also a bit of a coincidence or probability in. Yeah, but no indie. Oh, okay. But yeah, problem might be that it is hard to tell what the category indie actually covers, right? I mean, content-wise, you wouldn't call this game here indie because it's simulation, it's sub-simulation, so the genre is pretty clear. Or what would you understand by, yeah, right? So what would be an indie game? Any example? Some weird thing? Yeah, don't know. Yeah, well, I mean, if you transfer it to music, independent, I would understand independent to be something that is not one of the old school categories. Like indie rock would be this kind of rock which kind of, went new ways, did different things, not being really the classical rock. That's what I have in the back of my mind. But yeah, maybe game-wise, it's like you said, that they mean small studios with independent labels, something like that. Yeah, I guess you're right. So let's go on.
Wir befinden uns in flachen Gewässern.
Yes, we are in shallow waters. Yeah, we do have quite a swell. Look at the waves. It's, yeah. I remember one game which went to Steam where there was definitely only one developer behind it. It was, what was it called? Destroyer or something, and that was about, not a ship simulator, but a science fiction spacefaring simulator, something like that. I don't know if anybody has heard about that. Let me check the name, by the way. I actually have it. Have played it a bit. I pretty much liked it. It was with very basic graphics. Just don't remember the name. Destroyer? No. Let me try to find it. Stardew, okay. Never heard of that one, I have to admit. Hey, what was it? It must be in my inventory. Void Destroyer. That was the name of the game, Void Destroyer. I kind of liked it. It's just such a big game where you really have to dump tens, or hundreds of hours into. So at one point I decided that this would be not one of the few games where I would dump so many time into. U-Boat actually is. So that's the games where I put the most time into. It's actually U-Boat, it's DayZ, and it's Bannerlord. Yeah, I don't use to stream Bannerlord because I have that feeling that it might be too complex and everything. But maybe one day I'm gonna do a little bit of streaming. I did it, but it's quite some time ago, actually. There we go, close to the coast. I mean, if you imagine that this is a naval simulation, they do the coast pretty nicely. And what excuse me, what is this? Is it so shallow around here that we run aground? Yeah, because of the waves. So I should get out. Should really get out. I never had that around here. So we went to the bottom of the waves and dropped to the seabed. Pretty amazing. There we go again. Whoop. That was close. Let's see that we get a bit further out. Like with the mouse over to the here, up here we see the depth according to the map, and it says it's 8 to 10 meters. Does it? Yeah, okay, it's getting getting deeper when we go out. So let's do that.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
So ships around, but that is probably just French fishermen. Yeah. Give it another save, and let's hope that we get safe back into the harbor without any more surprises. Time 8 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, still daylight. Is it 8 o'clock in the evening? Ah, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. This is the beautiful little port of La Rochelle, well known from the movie. Everybody, I hope, knows what movie I'm talking about. The starting scene. The starting scene in the restaurant. Anybody recognize the air quotes? Yeah, this one here. So, what do you mean with the officer's mess? That's what we have around here. I'm always a little bit, yeah, I sometimes have to laugh about this ambiguity of the word. So, if the officers leave a mess, it's the officer's mess, isn't it? Is it? Are you, okay, all right. I wasn't aware. So you think it's the officer's mess in the barracks, in the Navy barracks? Yeah, probably they confiscated it. That was what they usually did back then. I think they confiscated yeah, space actually. And the nice space was given to the offices and the ordinary space to the hands, I guess. Yeah, which is, I think, pretty alright. So you're sure that when you get back home, you never run into one of your subordinates? Yeah. Makes perfect sense, I would say. There we go. Let's do a little bit of time acceleration. And watch. Yeah, we have quite some wave. What's the wind speed? 11 knots. That's not too much. But there is really quite some swell going that close to the shore. So discipline is fine. Yeah, we have accumulated a bit of fatigue, but it's only -3. That's handleable. So over the time, the crew accumulates fatigue, and sooner or later you are gonna have to grant them some shore leave, or they would grow pretty unhappy. And there is the logs. They are so nicely modeled. I love that. And one of the logs actually being no, okay. I thought they wouldn't open the door for me. Sometimes it's buggy around here. Let's hope that they get around. I'm just moving too fast. I am just moving too fast.
Langsame Fahrt zurück. Alle Maschinen stopp.
Okay, I never did the micromanagement.
Koordinaten setzen.
So guys, please.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Oh, nice. This kind of car I never watched. Amazing. That's funny. Don't know. So civilian cars around. That's the first time that I recognized that you have civilian cars driving around. And there we go, entering the port. Here we have some anti-aircraft guns, and they are actually active. So when the port is being attacked, they start firing, and they also hit. So I like this. Isn't that nice? Yeah, always keep in mind that it's a naval simulation. And so they put pretty much effort into. What's that noise? Is it a generator? Is it the industrial whatsoever? Which one of the buildings does emit that noise? I don't know. So here we are, entering port. Yeah, actually entering our mooring position.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, please reduce speed. And probably we are getting in here. That is our place. There she comes.
Koordinaten setzen.
Okay, Mr. Strauss was arrested. So yeah, there was something in the very beginning of the journey. Mr. Strauss was doing some insubordination, and so I had to let him arrest. Didn't like it. But here we are now. Give it a save. Give it a new name. W207. So I have Horst Strauss. Let's check it in the crew roster. Hey, where is Horst Strauss? Okay. Did they take him out of the roster? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. How many sailors do I have? Mr. Lindemann is in the hospital since long, and Mr. Strauss is arrested. Hey, come on. Where is Mr. Strauss? Hey, is it? No, it's Dieter Strauss. But where is Horst Strauss? There he is, so let's remove him from the roster for now. Specialization points, no, not yet. And this time we didn't have any survivors. Yeah, we had some survivors, but we handed them to the guys from the milk cow, actually. Now, let's see. U-boat clasp in gold for Mr. Preen, our second radio man. 40 war patrols, wow. What about the captain? Yeah, he gets some rewards for torpedo solution. For lots of ships. Let's see, how many ships did we sink with the William Glackens, the Frank Lever, the NA-1, another NA-1, the Cassette, another Frank Lever, the A.B. Hammond, that's number 7. Another A.B. Hammond is 8. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, they should put in a bit more variety. But probably there is a mod which would fix that, right? So that you don't have so many ships having the same names. Skipper, you successfully executed your successful execution of Operation Paukenschlag, drumbeat, has dealt a significant blow to the Americans. Sorry, our American friends in the stream, don't take it personal. I always emphasize that I'm very happy that you won the war and saved us from that wacko that we had back then here in Germany. But, well, now this is gameplay, and your careful planning allowed your U-boat to operate effectively along the eastern coast of the USA, disrupting their operations and earning the admiration of the Kriegsmarine. Your success as a U-boat captain is a testament to your skill and determination. Well done, Skipper. Yep, and now we get 6,000 Reichsmark. 100% of reputation and another milk cow. Thank you guys. And well, there is a next goal to reach 200,000 tons, which is quite a challenge. But we already have the first 10% of that. Did we sink a man of war this time? No. Freighter, coaster, Liberty. Yeah, okay. Nice. So, here we are.
Herr Kaloy? Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Yeah, experience of all my crew is maxed out.
Herr Kaloin? Herr Kaloin?
Ja.
I do have a lot of spare officers as backup at home, so I'm really thinking about maybe giving some of my officers a few days or a month off and taking another officer on board. So what do we have there? Mr. Lamprecht. Yeah, he's boarded. These guys are all boarded. Mr. Schneider is level 3 radio man. Mr. Strauss, level 2. Okay, I even have a level 2 sailor. That's interesting. So even the sailors now and then accumulate some points, experience points. I just think that this system is not yet fully developed. So Mr. Vogel is level 2. If I would make him officer, I hope that he would get some specializations, some special skills. Then here I could promote him to an officer, but here we don't need that at the moment. And now I have to assign another crewmate for that guy who was arrested. Mr. Lindemann is still in the hospital with tuberculosis. Mr. Strauss, that's the guy who was arrested. And Mr. Kors, he's available again. I think he was something like arrested before, wasn't he? So Walter Kors. Let's think about the squads and add him to this squad. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 squads with 7 sailors and 1 squad with 6 sailors. That's actually the watch groups that take turns every 4 hours. Oh, come on, this cheap viewers bullshit again. Leave me alone with that. I have very valuable viewers. No need for cheap ones. Sorry, guys. So what's about the stern torpedo tubes? I think they were completely empty, weren't they? Yes. And about the food storage? Yeah, well, having the bread. I mean the canned bread. And the fresh bread is fine just as well. Now let's check what we get in the stores. The GIP mod? What does it do? Does it block the cheap views? Bullshit.
Benötigen Sie, Herr Offizier? Sehen Sie sich die
Show
Lagerbestände
me
an.
what you've got. So, we're still finding coffee and everything. Now, torpedoes. What do we get? Let's first take a look at the stern torpedo storage. The stern tube. Yeah, put it. I like to have the sound-seeking torpedoes in the stern tubes. Quite a few of them. Yeah, they are twofold, or ambivalent, actually. The problem of the sound-seeking torpedoes is that you might fire them onto a ship and then it might just by itself turn onto another ship which might be closer. And if it has a more shallow draught, it would just pass by underneath. So, I usually try to use these torpedoes only on men of war. Bow torpedo storage, so T1. T1. T3. 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 T1. Okay, I'm running out of the steam powered torpedoes. So looks like later in the war they are not providing steam powered torpedoes anymore, although they are pretty nicely reliable and you could make them move faster than the electric torpedoes. But, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but no T1s left, right? So maybe I would like to have one T5 sound-seeking torpedo there, and let's look at the stores. Don't like that one with that very old pistol. That's just too high probability to get a dot, if you ask me. Let's get another T3 in there. So that's a good loadout. Now fuel. I once forgot to refuel before I went out. We didn't fire any rounds, did we? Ammo, food now. Yeah, I really like to have some more fruit on board. There is actually a mission when you have to bring food to a German submarine where they had a breakout of scurvy, and you could not fulfill that mission if you hadn't done the if you wouldn't have any vegetable or fruit on board. Get this one. So, something like 30 something. What else would I like to have? Let's get some more sausages. But, yeah, what I didn't check. Did I use any of the equipment? Medkit, 5. So, the 2 radio men, they have the medkit, and my engineers, they have 5 repair sets. That's fine. The bosun is free, so somebody has to have a free inventory slot to move stuff around in the boat. And the captain here. So, well, let's put the U-boat off duty for 5 days. And here we are. Oh shit, what is this? One of our resupply ships was sunk by the enemy. Oh! Oh, come on. So, come on, how do I know which submarine, which milk cow that was, which was sunk? So I have 1 milk cow less. Where can I see the status of my milk cows? That's a bit unclear. The headquarters menu. Yeah, okay, let's see. So how would I see that? Okay, can I now move and is it this one here on the map? So that means that I still have 2 milk cows around. But it looks like 1 milk cow, the one that I did send down here, that it was sunk. Yes, yep. So DD6 and DE2. DD6, it's down there. Okay, so at the moment, DD6. That's weird. That one was sunk, yeah. But I don't get the coordinates, right? So it gives me, okay, the BF 2889. Where is BF? BC, BD, BE. Hey, come on, that's weird. I never put any milk cow to BF 2889. Maybe it was, okay, yeah, nice. So that was probably the one that I sent out, and on the way it was sunk. Is this possible? Hey, Chainsaw, by the way, nice to have you in. Good evening. I hope you're fine. How are you doing? How was your day? Last days. It's Thursday evening, so we are almost through the week. So I did put my milk cow onto CD4. Okay, family just left. So did you have them for visit, or is it your family which went out for some kind of a prolonged weekend and you have the home for yourself over the weekend? Yeah, right. I completely forgot about that. Yes, there is the Thanksgiving tomorrow. Today, yes. Today it's Thanksgiving. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, how do you say? Do you say Happy Thanksgiving? I'm not quite sure about that. We don't have that at all around here. Yeah, right. So it's Thanksgiving, and tomorrow it's the day off. The Black Friday thingy. Yeah, yeah. All right. So you said family just left. So did you have a turkey actually? I pretty much liked that. Actually, some years ago I took the effort and prepared a turkey by myself after one, I think it was American recipe. Stuffed it with stuff. Yes. Yeah. So now let's find out about pretty much looks like we lost one milk cow. Hey, that's great. So you put it into the smoker. I love that. How long did you have it in the smoker? Must have been something like 24 hours, right? Nice. Well, maybe not 24, but my guess would be you would have to put it for 10 hours into the smoker, right? Weight loss, yeah. 8 hours. Okay, yeah. Yeah, amazing. That's great. I would have loved to taste that smoked turkey. That's great. Yeah, my smoker actually broke a year ago. So the side firebox actually was completely, corroded and got hold. The last time I used it, actually the metal of the side firebox broke the bottom and the coal was dropping onto the onto the lawn. Ah, okay, all right, yeah. So then it's a bit faster. Yeah, it would take even longer. If you would have it in a hole, yeah. I'm a bit undecisive what to do now. So this milk cow at CD4 obviously is not there anymore. So this message here sounds a little bit buggy. Ah, yeah, Schmetterlings, butterfly cut, yeah. It looks like this guy here actually was sunk at CD4. But that's a risk. I mean, imagine that you're out there and you don't have the fuel to get back, and then suddenly your milk cow gets sunk. That's a bit of a problem then. That makes me a bit nervous. So let's position. I think I still have a few years until the end of the war, so maybe I don't have to put the milk cow to South America right now. Yeah, right? I would have thought that as well, that they were pretty safe out there. So I think what I'm going to do is place one milk cow south in the square of CD7 and then check it. I mean, I'm going to go to CD4 anyway and check whether the milk cow really is gone or if it's still there. All this looks a bit fishy actually. By the way, please, some patience. I'll be back in 60 seconds. 1 minute. All right, back again. So now CD7. Let's put it there. So let's take this one. So what was the mechanism? The target area. Yeah, let's put it there, CD7, and who would actually command it. So it would take 12 days to have it there. Yeah, it feels a bit weird because I thought that I positioned a second come on, let's check that. I thought I did position another head milk house somewhere there in the south. So let's mark this.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
Milk number 2. Yeah, we're not sure. Maybe this milk cow was sunk. Maybe it was sunk. Looks like that. Yeah, the question actually is which mission I would like to do next. We still have these missions along the African coast. Let's just hope that this is not just an algorithm, like when you have too many milk cows, one of them gets sunk. Sorry guys, I have to do a little bit of snacking. Okay, interesting. Pretty interesting. So why did mine got sunk? Keep it safe for now. And now let's make up our minds. Let's first check the food. I think I'm gonna put this one there as well. Just see if we have some new food with Mr. Fisher. That's nice. We got some new stores in the last 5 days. So that's fine. Another 16 hours to get the stuff on board. Yeah, come on, shall we just do another Canadian mission? Let's see what the leading officer has in store for us.
Weiterzuleiten. Wie kann ich Ihnen behilflich sein?
Hey, chainsaw. No, I didn't. Or actually, I did survive, but more than half of my crew was dead. I think it was just something like 5 crewmates surviving and only 2 officers surviving. I got it under control, but yeah. So I decided that was too much of a tough situation, and I reloaded the game and we just went back home. So yes, I didn't survive the bombing attack. I just did reload an earlier save, I have to admit.
Dies sind aktuelle Einsatzbefehle vom BDU. Streng geheim.
So what do we get from Admiralty? Yeah, I think we are gonna continue Operation Drumbeat. Difficulty is high for this mission to patrol this area. Sinking 10,000 tons. Foggy, okay. Yeah, to have fog is a chance, but it's also challenging. I mean, you can hide well in the fog, but it's also pretty hard to make out the targets. Or the man of war. But nevertheless, I'm gonna take that one. Let's select it.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
So the milk cow still takes 11 days to be in place. So the problem is we are not going to be able to use it. Yeah, let's do some checking. Yeah, that looks good. Stern torpedoes should be alright just as well. Yes, the T5 sound seeking guys. And food is good. So guys, are you ready? Yeah! The crew shouting enthusiastically. I don't know if anybody would be enthusiastic about getting out in this metal coffin. But yeah, let's stay positive and give it a ride.
Kurs setzen.
Let's get out. Let's get moving. Kleine Fahrt as long as we are in port. Slow speed. And yeah, as the mission description said, it's foggy. And it's 8 o'clock, it's morning. But pretty bad visibility. So there we go for the next mission. And it's raining. Wow, that's such a bad weather. So it's not fog actually, it's just bad visibility from rain. Which is also modeled nicely. Yeah, such a lovely weather. I like the atmosphere, like when you slip into the room of one of your offices, you hear that sound of the rain drumming onto the hull. Perfect weather for leaving, yeah. Yeah, the crew quarters in the boat torpedo room. Hey guys, that's the officers' bunks. Officers' mess. Mr. Arles, our first mechanic, and Mr. Hinrich, our first radio man, and some crewmate, Mr. Strauss, at the radio. And the cozy bunk of the captain, with the maximum privacy that you can get. The curtain. And that's the operation center. Mr. Sparfeld at the comms. And the depth steer station, unmanned of course, as we are. Surface the map here, you get up into the conning tower. Petty officers, accommodation and mess. And the galley. Some crew hand manning the galley all the time. That keeps the crew happy and the engines. Just moving at low speed, so the sound is limited. And here is the electric babies. And the compressors that you definitely need. Yeah, you need compressed air to get the water back out of the ballast tanks when you want to get back to the surface. And the stern torpedo tube. So let's make it complete. Oh, we are up already. Open the hatch. Yeah, whenever you open the hatch, you have to keep in mind that there will be water streaming in. Ah, close the hatch again. But here we go into the lock. Nice, nice weather. Yeah, let's get back down. And closed. It is closed already. So, that was a little tour through the boat. Thank you very much, Mr. Grad. So you can turn in again.
Zeit für eine Aus.
It was his off-watch.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Okay, there we are. Moving out of the lock. Yeah, that's pretty atmospheric, isn't it? With the two lighthouses on the pier. Okay, getting out of that. And the rain is starting again. Let's do some little time acceleration and hope that doesn't spoil the atmosphere too much. And there is this lighthouse out there, which we already saw when we came back in. Such a messy weather. Yeah, shall we sail somewhere nicer? Yeah. By the way, I was always wondering what this term CO actually refers to. I mean, is it like the officer of the watch being the commanding officer, or is it the CO actually the highest ranking officer, generally like the captain of the ship, independently whether he is on watch or not? Wow. Wow. That's, yeah, amazing. 10 meters, right? 10-meter waves. Yeah, I already mentioned before, before you went to the stream, that my maximum wave size was in the North Sea. Something like 2 meters. When I was out with the little yacht of my uncle. Yeah, pretty amazing. I have a crew specialization point. Oh yeah, nice. Where did it come from? Wasn't aware of that. So let's have one other expert in discipline. Who's gonna be it? So here, Mr. Bucher, you get that. Yeah, as I said, I never went into something tough like that. I just remember my uncle, that guy with the yacht. When I was a youth, when I was something like 16 years old, 15 or 16 years old, I spent several holidays together with him in the Netherlands and on the North Sea. And he was actually a learned sailor. So he went through an apprenticeship and he was going to sea on a merchant vessel, but only 2 years or something, and then he came back home and settled down. And what he said was that when it really becomes tough, even already in the Baltic, it was actually not North Sea. Even in the Baltic, he said that plenty of sailors tend to get seasick even then. So I don't know, what would you say if you have these enormous swells and waves? Isn't it that quite some part of the crew is gonna struggle with it, even if they're seasoned sailors? Old salts. Yeah, quicker wave period and kind of choppy, I guess, yeah. Yeah, I think it's something that comes natural. So some people are really, yeah, inert against seasickness and others are not. And you can get used to it. But yeah, when you say that the first 2 days you had 40% of incapability after casting off, so maybe it was just because they had a big party before casting off. So I remember back in the days that on Saturday mornings I also was sometimes pretty seasick. Give it another save and carry on.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. By the way, weight loss, today, well, I have to admit that only today I followed your YouTube channel. Just never did it. And yeah, pretty nice layout. So all you guys watching, please also heed Mr. Weight Loss Games and his YouTube channel as well as his Twitch channel. Pretty worthwhile to visit. Okay, it was you. Yeah, all right. Yeah, you have much more followers on YouTube than I have. So you were the 40th follower, I guess. Oh yeah, we should speed up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Yeah, in terms of viewers, I had it in the past that for no me apparent reason, suddenly one video went through the ceiling. Like having after 5 days something like 1,500 hits or something. But at least for me, that's pretty rare. So let's keep going. Yeah, we're still too close to the coast, shallow waters, so we don't get the full time acceleration, but there we are. Yeah, well, I don't know. I think it's alright.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah. If you die in the game and you say fuck, nobody would take any offense, I think. As long as you wouldn't have called it content which is particularly for children, I think it should be alright. Now it's the long way out.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
To the other side of the Atlantic. Ah, okay. All right. So they actually filter it, and like the abundance of the F word in your stream might kind of reduce how often you get suggested somewhere. Ah, okay. Yeah. Good point. Good to keep that in mind. Yeah. Does the company name Cyberdyne ring a bell with anybody in the stream? Just talking about total control. Who remembers it?
Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, if you don't get it under control by yourself, yeah.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, but good point. So, if you mention it, so I will also try to kind of, I think I'm not swearing extremely much. Not that I recognize it, but I would check it more that I don't. I usually don't care much about swearing or not swearing, but yeah, good point actually. Hey, yes, of course. I mean, I once read a book about the 16th century Carrera de India, which the Spanish did. These large convoys of ships going to India, to West India, the Caribbean, and that was a professor from Sevilla actually had been writing that book, but he did it in a kind of not too scientific style, so I quite liked it. But he had quite some interesting facts, and I think it was pretty well founded with sources that he got from the archives of Sevilla, like that if you were sailing with the wrong captain back then, you might get into real trouble for swearing. Well, in the 16th century.
Navigation besetzen.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, in real life, I think that Spanish people are kind of, well, I would say the Spanish are, at least for the last 100 years, they are well known for their beautiful swearing. So, any Spanish people listening, no offense taken. Please take that as a compliment. I've been to Spain only once, so I really can't judge it, I have to admit. I just have been reading Ernest Hemingway.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
And if you read, for example, Whom the Bell Tolls of Ernest Hemingway, wonderful book, actually. I would warmly recommend it, and I loved it. But yeah, it's very authentic, I would say, and he also implemented a lot of swearing into the book, and obviously back then his publisher said that he couldn't write it, and so you have a lot of sentences where you have this unprintable. So like when one character said it was something like unprintable bullshit. Or something like, I unprintable into the milk of your mother, or something like that. This is terms and phrases that pretty often occur in the book. Yeah, my Spanish is actually not existent, I have to admit, although I would love to have some knowledge in the Spanish language.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Shit, no guys, we don't need silent running.
Benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
There we are, outbound.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ah, fuck.
Heilung. 355 Grad. Alarm. Flugzeug in
Auf die
Sicht.
Station.
Heilung.
Anlauf
10
beginnt.
Grad.
W2078. Let's give it a save, a new save game. And please, Mr. Drummel, man the machine gun. Mr. Crowder, wanna go? Wanna have your flank speed?
Äußerste Kraft kurz. Kurs setzen.
There he is coming in. Ah, come on, come on.
Das Flugzeug erfolgreich abgeschossen.
So I think we were lucky. We shot him down before he dropped anything upon us. Yes. Yeah, getting back into it with Duolingo. Yeah, nice.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen. Alarm
Stop the
beenden.
alarm. Stop direct orders. By the way, why don't I have the gyro compass turned on? And
Navigation besetzen.
navigation, please. Yeah, I have to admit that I only learned English at school. If you could call it, have learned it. So Well, that English that I have, that I know, mostly I think doesn't stem from school, but from real life experience. So at school I was pretty bad in English. But no other languages. Well, not to forget about Latin, actually. Okay, so somebody please report
Raum besetzen.
that. Yeah, we shot that guy down. That's worth a report to the headquarters. A single plane is no match, but when you're getting attacked by something like 5 or 6, like it was in the last stream, then you're in trouble.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Torpedo 1 gewartet.
Yeah, Mr. Schneider is continuously looking for the torpedoes. Looking after the torpedoes, not looking for the torpedoes. Yes. That's a nice German-like mistake. He's looking for the torpedoes. Yeah, I'm not looking after the torpedoes. Where did I put those bloody torpedoes? Yeah. Hey guys. Ah, hey, there they are. What a surprise. They are so hard to find, these tiny little torpedoes. Hey, nice. I just checked the statistics and I saw that we still have quite a few people from the US. Great to have you in, guys. I mean, particularly Chainsaw and obviously a few more. So I was afraid that maybe all of you guys from the US would have your family party tonight and not being online, but yeah, nice to have you in. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we could have saved these guys. Post-turkey digestion entertainment, yeah. I pretty much love turkey. I mean, I pretty much love to prepare food. I'm a big fan of cooking. And yeah, particularly I love to put big chunks of something into the oven and roast it. And I particularly love the idea that you just mentioned, Chainsaw, doing the turkey in the smoker. That's just great. I'm sure that was great.
etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, Herr Kanone.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, Herr Kanone. Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, we are still above 90% of fuel, but if you consider that we are just leaving the Bay of Biscay, we still have some way to go. And what about the still 8 days? Yeah, well, we will see how long it takes us to get out there.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yes, well, if you had good food and maybe a glass of wine or beer, it's, yeah, challenging to stay awake. But yeah, I feel very honored that you took the espresso to stay awake and stay in the chat. Yeah, I do. I just forgot it. I usually do that. I usually do that. That's what you mean, right? That's why I do this micromanagement, actually.
Navigation besetzen.
Help me, please. I'm always a bit lost about these abbreviations. BF6 is... Help me, please. BF4? Probably when you tell me I will... Ah, yeah, Battlefield. Ah, nice. I have to admit that I have been playing Battlefield for years. If I remember right, I had been playing the very early. Hey, the first Battlefield game that was already in the 90s, wasn't it? Is that possible, or am I kind of mixing it up? I think we already had a Battlefield first version in something like 93 or something. Is this possible? Ah, no, okay, then I'm... Ah, yeah. No, yeah. Yes, yeah, okay, I was mixing it up. So it was 2002 when I visited an old school friend in Dresden, and he actually was playing the game, and that was when I first ran into it. It was not 92 or 3, but it was 2002 or 3, yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Navigation besetzen.
Okay. It's 7 o'clock, 20 past 7. So, sun has set. We have bad visibility. It's bucketing down like hell. And we are gonna give it another save. Better safe than sorry, and carry on.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Navigation besetzen.
Nah, don't remember the details, I have to admit. I thought the first one was World War II, but maybe I was wrong. Yep.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Yeah, I just saw the trailers of Battlefield 6 and that looked pretty impressive.
Unterstützung.
And the advertising is pretty immersive, I would say. At the moment, my favorite military sims would be Arma Reforger,
Navigation.
which I think is great, and then the other one, what was the name? Yeah, I wouldn't find it. Yeah, but Arma Reforger is actually
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
my favorite military sim at the moment. Apart from U-Boat, of course.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, and Arma, that kind of, yeah, it takes place in the Cold War still. But that's, yeah, it's great. I love it. I've been
Ich benötige hier etwas
Plain.
Unterstützung.
Arma 2 quite a bit. Yeah, actually, I only bought Arma 2 because I wanted to play DayZ back then, the mod. But then I also dove into Arma 2. And I also played a bit of Arma 3 actually, the campaign, the single player campaign. Quite dove into it for a while. But that's quite some time ago.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Hey, weight loss, are you sure? I mean, I thought it was irregular. Like dive, dove, dived. Or dive, dove, diven. Nah, dive, dove, dived. I thought it was. So, are you sure? Yeah, Divin is nonsense, yeah, but Dove, I thought Dove was... Are you sure that it's just... Yeah, to me, Dove always sounds a bit awkward. That's why I usually tend to say dived. But then in the next moment, I always feel like, oh, it's irregular. I should have said dove. The man dove into the pool. Yeah, chainsaw. That's what I thought.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kaloi. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloi.
That's weird. I mean, often it's the other way around, isn't it? Like that the people in the US made language a bit more practical. Like if you look at the spelling of donuts or something like that. Yeah, but I never would venture to call me being able to really differentiate between what's British, what's American English. Yes, yeah, good point. That's a very decent remark. I like that. I like that as approach for discussion. Not to go into the confrontation, but take the positive out of it. That's really great. I pretty much like your attitude, weight loss, and this pretty much confirms that I'm right with that. No. No, to be honest, I don't.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Navigation besetzen.
Ah, by the way, now we are at 80%. Yeah, you see, to go the whole distance will use up something like 30% of our fuel, which is quite a bit.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Natürlich. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum.
It's a long, long way to travel, particularly now that
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
I really try to save fuel because I'm not sure whether I will run into my milk house over there as planned. And
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
then I might get into trouble. Congo Müller. I heard about that guy. Congo Müller, that rings a bell. Yep. Okay. Interesting. But I kind of, remember that Congo Müller stuff.
Navigation
Not
besetzt.
directly, but I think I heard my parents talking about that or something.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Natürlich, Herr Freund.
So now we are closing in on our target area. Yeah. But yeah, to be honest, I don't remember any details. I just have that name, Congo Müller, to ring a bell. By the way, please allow me to be AFK for 1 minute. All right, back again. Hey, okay, now I get the point. GDR, it's German Democratic Republic, yeah. The DDR, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good point, yeah. Hey, you know, this is one of the points that I love about these kind of games like U-Boat. There are streams which are pretty action-packed. And like right now, some people might call this boring because we just don't run into any enemies, but that's part of the game. Like giving you this immersion of just being on the move. And yeah, for streaming, that's a nice opportunity just to have a little chat. Like in the action-packed phases, of course, I'm a little bit distracted by the game. So yeah, this is maybe why I love to stream this game now since months. And how long do I stream U-Boat? More than a year, I think. And yeah, DayZ is actually similar. DayZ is also one of these games where you have these lengths, where you have some nice opportunity to have a little chat with your stream, or just kind of doing some philosophy about whatsoever. And then you run into these action-packed moments. So these are, yeah, some people might wonder that if a guy like me streams U-Boat and DayZ, two games which seem to be pretty different, but from my point of view, they are feeling pretty close to each other in some aspects.
Navigation besetzen.
So now we are close. I'm curious whether I could summon the milk cow. Probably not. At least not in this northern square. And the other milk cow will still take her 3 days to reach the mission area.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Betrachten Sie es als erledigt, Herr Kaloy.
Yeah, 72. Yeah. Almost a third of fuel used up just to get here.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
And yeah, I was doing the micromanagement to reduce the fuel usage actually.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung. Natürlich, Herr Kaloy.
There we are, almost there.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Yeah, this is the middle of the night. By the way, let's check the food. And discipline is going down. Fatigue is going up to, or down to -7. And yeah, let's get some food variety actually. Cheese and canned bread. Yeah, this time the number of followers in the stream is relatively low. So there should be quite a few new people in the stream. So guys, don't hesitate to participate in the chat. Or give me a follow. Well, actually right now it's just 6 people left, and I pretty much guess that those people who are in the chat and in the stream right now, that you are followers actually. So Volvulu, are you still there? Chainsaw, you are there. Weight loss, Volvulu was commenting. But I think the last comment of Volvulu is already something like an hour ago. Yeah, no worries. I mean, perfectly fine if you just watch and lurk. Just curious. By the way, curious. Yeah, we just have 12. Ah, yes, right. He was checking in from the club, so yeah, he wouldn't hear us. Yeah, you're right. I forgot that. By the way, let's give it another save. Or maybe let's give it a new one, because out here now it's a bit risky. We might run into a situation where we just don't have enough fuel to get back home, and this is something where I do want to have a safe game backup.
Deckgeschütz besetzen.
Hey, no.
Navigation besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Sie ist als erledigt, Herr Kanon. Funkraum besetzen.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Let's see if we get contact with a milk cow around here. Nope. Yeah, come on, cancel. Request resupply. Still looks like we can do that. Let's see. But I don't know. Maybe if we request resupply in an area where there is no milk
Funkspruch
cow,
erhalten.
nearest resupply opportunity is possible at CD7. Ah, okay. Yeah, so we actually did lose this milk cow. Nice to have checked it. Not so nice that it did happen. Yeah, like you said, weight loss, you were pretty surprised. You have been doing the whole playthrough, through the campaign, through the war. So it's a bit surprising that we lost that one here. So we have to get down. But it's nice to know that you actually get this report where the closest quadrant is to get a milk cow. Yeah, now we are going in. Yep.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, I hope Volvolo has some fun in the club. Like, when we talk about that, I recognize that for me, I have to admit it's quite some time ago that I have been to a club.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Yeah, we are still doing a boat trip with school friends. So most of us, we were back then when we were young, when we were at school, we all were in the boat club, like doing rowing, oaring, and yeah, from back then, just once in a year, we meet and yeah, get the boats of our club somewhere onto some river in Germany and spend something like 4 days together. And these are the rare opportunities when I still happen to get to a club. Like, well, we are visiting nice, like quite some years ago, we actually did this kind of a boat trip right through Berlin. Yeah, but I mean, in real life, in the daily business, I just don't visit clubs anymore, I have to admit.
Kurs setzen.
Yeah, I'm getting old. Also, pubs, yeah, restaurants. Ah, no. Yeah, it pretty much depended on the music. I mean, never liked that kind of typical classical disco music. Well, I mean, disco music is a weird term because I think disco music is something from the early 80s or something and long gone. But yeah, for me, it was when I went to a club with my friends, we usually went to some, yeah, we called it indie music clubs. And they were playing more like, yeah, a little bit of punk, a little bit of rock, and a little bit of garage. How did you call it back then? And crossover. Yeah, grunge. Yeah, that's it. Yep. Yeah, the good old grunge. Think of Mr. Shotgun yourself, Nirvana, and a lot of bands doing similar things back then.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Wird erledigt, Herr Kalott.
Yeah, we called it grunge back then. Yeah, right. Like, I was just thinking about, I mean, Nirvana, that's the stereotype for grunge, but just anybody would name Nirvana. If you ask him, name a typical grunge band, but what others were there? Do you remember the band Selig? That German band? They were also doing some kind of grunge and pretty nice and tough rock and roll. Yeah. Now here we are in the square, and let's see if we can get into contact with our
Funkraum besetzt.
supplier. Yeah, same for me. I mean, that was like garage rock or grunge, or yeah, I think part of grunge was like having this pretty distorted guitar curtain, something like that. Bit like a merge between rock and punk, maybe. I don't know. Not an expert at all.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Now request supply. Let's see what we get.
Funkspruch erhalten.
All right, that works. We have to get back up there. Yeah.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Included Weltschmerz. Yeah. I think Weltschmerz, is this one of these words which were also included into the English Wortschatz? The Weltschmerz.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Like the angst. The Treppenwitz. Oh, Sprechgesang. Sprechgesang. Yeah, well, you could just call it rap, yeah, but it's not such a nice word. Yeah, I just came to it because on my long drives to work, I used to listen to some podcast of a few US guys who were doing some nice reception about classical rock albums, and pretty fun to listen to them. And just last week in one of their series, they had something like mentioning the word of Sprechgesang. So at least this word kind of found its way into the US subculture. Yeah, or the hinterland, actually. Yeah, if you might happen to read Mr. Dick, that guy who wrote Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which was the book for Blade Runner, or The Man in the High Castle, and what else? Yeah, Minority Report. That was also a book by him originally, and yeah, if you read his books, he loves to use these kind of Americanized German words. And it's pretty funny how he kind of puts these words into his texts. And from German point of view, it's pretty interesting to see that, obviously, these words found their way into at least American subculture back in the yeah, 70s, early 80s. I don't know when that guy was actually active. I think it was 70s probably. But I pretty much would recommend to read that guy. I think, yeah, I quite loved it, quite enjoyed it. Particularly that one about do androids count electric sheep. That's beautiful. It's pretty close to Blade Runner, the movie somehow, but yeah, very immersive. That's very immersive literature. Pretty nice to read. Yeah, or take the audiobook. Would be just as nice. The Wunderwaffe. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, here we are. Oh shit, 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 shit.
Alle Maschinen, stopp!
We are so close now.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
But we don't have any signal yet. We don't have any radio signal yet.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Oh, by the way, I have to get me something. A little drink or snack or something. Be back in a minute. Yeah, I've been playing Witcher 3. I pretty much like that game, but like usual, I never managed to do the whole playthrough through these kind of adventure games. I always get stuck somewhere pretty early. But it's great, and it's still on my list to actually do a playthrough of Witcher 3. But I think I never got that far to see this scene that you're describing. Come on, I should get some contact on the guy. Maybe. Let's turn on the
Scheinwerfer einschalten.
Searchlight. So this is what I love about the concept of the game. So you press the button, turn on the searchlight, and it just doesn't turn on right away, but there is first a crewmate who has to get there and turn it on.
Halbe Fahrt, voraus.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet. Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Kurs setzen.
Torpedorohr 5 gewartet.
It must be somewhere there. There it is, isn't it? Yeah, alright. Still pretty far away. So this is my milk cow. That's where we are gonna
Alle Maschinen stoppen.
refuel. Stop the engines.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, we have to send an away team. Let's do that. Hello? The bows, there they go. And 6 crewmates. And let's send them over there. See their cargo. So what do I want to get? Items, torpedoes, fuel, ammo, food, equipment. Yeah, I don't know. What about food? So it would be reasonable to refill that. Hi guys, by the way, nice to have you in the stream. I just see the number going up. I mean, the number of watchers. So you're completely anonymous, which is just fine. But still, I always want to encourage you to take part in the chat. Although it might look pretty private, everybody's welcome. Don't hesitate to state what you think about the game, or what you think about the stream. I never mind backseat driving, actually. Or maybe tell me if you're playing the game by yourself, or just starting it, or if you're an old salt. Let's return to the ship and turn off
Scheinwerfer ausschalten.
the searchlights and get the stuff transferred. Well, we are at 100% discipline, that's fine. And what about the water in the bilge? It's decent, no problem. And here we are. Now, let's get to the target area. Now we can delete all these contacts from our last mission, not to confuse us, and there we go. Sinking some 10,000 tons. That's the mission. At least now we got refueled, and yeah, we can delete these. Obviously that milk cow was sunk. Yeah, the moon is up. Look at that, how beautifully this is modeled. The moon just about to vanish behind the clouds. That would be a wonderful thumbnail, wouldn't it? I have to keep that in mind. Maybe I'm going to make a thumbnail for my streams out of that. That's so great. That's looking so great. The port and starboard lamps, yeah, particularly the starboard lamps glowing in the darkness. There we go.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Hey, you guys from YouTube, I see that the number of watchers is also increasing. It's so great to have you in. Yeah, I know that on YouTube it's kind of less usual to participate in the chat, but let me rest you assured that every comment is welcome. That's really kind of a difference between the Twitch and the YouTube community. That's my gut feeling. That on Twitch there is much more people who are just up to some nice conversation, And on YouTube it's more like people who watch and are hesitating to put something into the chat. So don't hesitate actually. Comments are always welcome. Or well, for all of you guys, don't hesitate to give me a follow. That is the greatest feedback that you can get as a streamer.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Navigation besetzen.
Yeah, let's carry on and try to save fuel. You never know what it is good for.
Endlich ein paar Stunden Pause.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, ich kümmere mich darum. Ich bin sehr müde. Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
Bestätige.
Hey guys, I just remember I have to defreeze a little bit of bread. So otherwise our children wouldn't get any bread tomorrow for school. So sorry, I have to be AFK just for 1 minute. Doesn't look good, so looks like we do have a supply chain management problem
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
at the moment.
Hier etwas Unterstützung.
Yeah, but we still do have a bit of toast. Ship has reached the target area. Okay, that's not 100% consistent because we already made use of that one. Yeah, guys, okay. I look at the time, so it's 10 to 3 and I can't sleep a little bit longer tomorrow. That's why I do these streams on Thursday, but still I have to get up at latest at 9 o'clock which is 6 hours from now, so it would be pretty reasonable to call it a day for now. Yeah, thanks guys for watching, and thanks for participating in the chat. Weight loss, it was a pleasure to have a chat with you again. And yeah, Chainsaw, don't know if you're still there. If you are, have a good night, and looking forward to see you again. And Vulvulu, he was in, but yeah, he's in the disco, so he might not hear us. All the best wishes. Just time to say goodbye. There is this song, wasn't there a song like from Frank Sinatra? I don't know. But yeah, great Vulvulu. You're still there. You heard us. Yeah, I thought you wouldn't. Over all the noise around you. Perfectly fine. So have a good night, and it would be a pleasure to have all of you guys back in the stream tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm definitely gonna stream one more U-boat. So no DayZ tomorrow, definitely U-boat. Thanks guys, and see you